Hello, and welcome to the Royalty. We want to thank you all for tuning in. Remember, like, subscribe, and comment. We are so proud of our subscribers. They just keep going up. Thank you for sharing our videos. If you have not yet subscribed, but you're here, please subscribe. Let's get into it. We're your hosts. I'm Tiffany, aka Tippy Toes.
And I am Derek F, aka Big D.
And I am Hannah, aka Chada, and here on The Royalty, we're going to break down all your favorite reality shows that are ours too. So sit back, grab a mug, and sip your tea along with us. Big D, where's your tea?
I don't have a mug. I was late. I was pulling a Hannah and I had to set up. I'm so sorry.
So you lied because you said in the text that you were coming because you were fixing your tea.
What is the truth?
I don't know. Only you guys would know. They don't know that.
Well, I'm telling them.
Anyway, how are you ladies? I miss you ladies so much. I hope everything is well. You guys look gorgeous, hydrated, and your skin is glowing for the both of you guys. So something interesting must be going on, especially you, Tiffany. How's your dating life going?
Oh, it's going. No, I'm just kidding. It's going good. Me and my new dater, we're doing just fine.
Not dater, like dater, like
this is like
My dater.
Yes, thank you, Webster. We are doing we're doing fine. I do kind of wish I had more suitors, options, because like not that I'm not satisfied there. It's just that you don't want to like get so focused on one person when you're just in the getting to know phase. Like we're just getting to know each other. We're not sleeping with each other. We're getting to know each other. We're learning each other. But it's like, I think that when you're dating, you shouldn't just focus all of your attention on one person. Like women do that. Like we meet a guy, we like him. We're just like, oh, I like him. I'm just all for him. While he's like dating and meeting other people and trying to like get to see who he wants to settle down with. So anyway, I'm still available. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that you definitely don't need other suitors, you know. I've learned that from a dear friend of ours, you know. When you're dealing with multiple people, it can get you in trouble. But other than that, I just think that one is that too, but
yeah, I didn't say I was fucking.
Oh, okay. Good. Now, Hannah, with you, you're glowing. What's going on? How's school? You're getting ready for school? What's on the next agenda? Because
I know you better not be dating or fucking.
If she was, that person would be dead.
You guys sound exactly like X. I was just the only one who's cool about these things. But no, I'm glowing because I'm getting ready to start med school in a couple months. I got into my dream school. I think that's where I'm going. I'm just kind of waiting for financial aid to pan out. And there's literally days left until I officially commit. So I'm just very, very, very liberated, relieved, and ecstatic for the future. Like in 3 years' time, from today, I will know exactly which specialty I want to go into, and I'll be starting my career as a doctor. So.
You should do plastic surgery so I can be always fine.
No,
Same.
I'm
I definitely need a nice puck and pull and a nice little, because I really want like a
nice
BBL.
Putt-putt? A nice putt-putt, you said?
Yeah, like a little putt. Like I want a nice BBL. Like I want like a, you know, like a skinnier waist and just an ass that just sits up so high I can't even sit.
Like he want to be royal, Big D.
Yes.
Your Highness D.
Your Highness D. Okay.
No, I want to put people to sleep and then wake them up.
Girl, I could do that for you. I'm good at that. I can show you how to do that without medication, okay?
She didn't say she wanted to put herself to sleep. She said she wanted to put other people to sleep.
I can show you how to put people to sleep without the medication. You don't even need all that liquid shit. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Let's try it. You ready, guys?
Yeah, you just need Big D's genetics. And
yeah. Look, no, you just close your eyes
and you mastermind the cookout.
And you mastermind the cookout. Listen here, you little fucking hussy. Don't start your fucking shit today again, okay? Once again, yes, you sit there and you put together the cookout. You might have not mastermind, but you put it together.
Okay,
I
so
love triggering you.
Don't start again. You and your friend with the braids. Don't y'all start.
I love this.
so
Now.
yeah. Whew. It's getting hot in here. Let me unzip my. Oh no.
Oh, it's not that kind of show.
Okay, but it can be only if
It
you're a
can be.
fan.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Over here getting me all hyped up. Get my blood pressure up again. You know what? I have learned to kill people with kindness. So, darling, I don't have anything to say about that anymore. Because I'm a star. Don't forget that.
You were ready
Don't
with
forget
that.
that. Anyway, but in other news, I'm very happy that you are preparing yourself for school. So maybe when you go to school, you could sit there and actually learn what it's like to put people together like a plan and work as a team and see if you can make an alliance while you're in school. And Tiffany, I am very happy that you are dating, and I don't think you need other people. I don't want you
I want to make an alliance too with all my suitors.
No, you don't need to be in an alliance like that, because there's always that one person that you might be in an alliance with that's very questionable, that's not as loyal to you as you think.
No,
you
just kick them out.
No, you can't, unfortunately.
Yeah,
just
we were
because
kicked
of
out before.
how it is. That's how it is.
Still.
So, in other news, ladies, of course, it's around that time. Your favorite time. Every week I bring it to you. Big D's Trivia!
I'm ready. I got my thinking cap on. Give it to me.
Mom, pick me up. I'm ready to go home. Your trivia scares me. She just said, what?
I believe she said what? Okay. Here we go. First question. And please do not talk over each other. Remember, these are Big D's trivia questions, whatever you want to call it. It don't matter. It's what I'm thinking. Okay? So put your Big D hat on and think like me. Okay? So.
Let me shave my head.
We raising our hands.
Okay. I like that. Raising hands. Great. Okay. What belongs to you but gets used by everyone else more than you? Tiffany was first. Go ahead, Tiffany.
I can't say my answer. It's a PG rated show. Hannah.
It always comes back to this for you, Tiff. Okay, the question was what belongs to you but gets used up by everyone else?
I'll repeat it again.
Your kindness?
Okay, is that your final answer?
Is that your final answer? Okay. Tiffany, go ahead.
Your time.
Oh.
Those are really good answers. I don't know if I should. I'm going to give a half point.
To who?
To both of you guys, because I think those are also valid answers. But the answer is your name.
Oh, okay. Okay. Tiff, you had the right idea with time, kind
Yeah.
of.
Okay. I thank you for the half point. You're being very generous today.
I'm trying my best. I'm feeling very blue today. Now, next question I have. What do you call a woman who knows where her husband is all the time? Tiffany, go ahead and you have to answer what you're thinking.
Nosy.
Hannah, go ahead.
You said, what do you call a woman who knows where her husband is or where her man is at?
What do you call a woman who knows where her husband is all the time?
Who knows where her husband is all the time? A woman who owns an iPhone with Find My Friends.
I changed my answer. Can I change my answer?
Go ahead, Tiffany, change your answer. Yes.
A wife.
Okay. The answer is a widow.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, unless you get your husband cremated and then you throw the ashes in a river or a lake, then you wouldn't know.
This is true. I agree with Hannah.
In Hindu culture, that's what they do. Because there's not enough space to bury bodies, so you cremate your husband or your wife, and then you release their ashes into the river Ganges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about doing that, but I'm just going to donate my body to science.
Okay. I'll work on it in school. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I will be long out of school by the time
I
that rolls
know.
around.
I hope. Damn.
Final question. Spell enemy in 3 letters.
NME.
Okay? Tiffany, your answer?
I'd like to steal Hannah's answer.
Okay, both of those answers are incorrect. The answer is foe.
I was actually
F-O-E.
going to say that. I was going to say that, but I thought I was tricking the trickster.
I know, and you cannot trick the jokester, the original jokester, the jokester that was put on the team at first, not the jokester that was added towards the end on their own. So, another news, that is the end of Big D's trivia. So, you ladies, I will give you guys a 0.5 for how well you both did today. We're getting a little better, but just remember, just think outside the box.
I
not
give you a
in the
negative
box.
3 for those 3 questions.
That's perfectly fine, and I would take those. Okay, so in other news, what's been going on with BBCan 11?
Ooh.
I have some bad news for you, Big D. Your man, Roberto, he was evicted, this last week.
No.
I know. Ay, Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío,
caramba.
so papio culo.
Oh my gosh.
It was
He's
sad
on-
to watch.
It probably was. He probably looked really good, but very
did.
sad to watch. It's okay.
Oh, honey, he was casket ready on his eviction day.
Not casket ready.
Casket
Like
sharp.
But it was giving casket chic. He looked
It
good.
was. And he looked
He
good.
looked good. I'm sad because the eye candy's gone. So like who are we
Oh, I ain't
supposed to
watching
look
it
at?
anyway, because that was the only
I-
reason I was watching it, was to watch him. Because I just like looking at him and how he just suave across the floor.
Well, he didn't suave his ass up out of that eviction.
Well, his ass was too damn distracted, and he wasn't in the right group of people.
Let's talk about the
Yeah.
distraction.
Let's
Okay.
get to it.
Hannah, are we going to start at the beginning, the end, the middle? Where we going? You kick it off, Hannah.
Yeah, no, let's start from the beginning. Okay, so for those who don't know, this last week on BBCan was a tumultuous week. Like, this season is honestly captivating to me, but it's hard for me to invest myself in it because there are no live feeds, and I just feel like we're missing a lot of pieces of the puzzle. But I digress. So at the beginning of the week, Dan S won the HOH. It was an athletic, a physical HOH, and surely enough, top 7, all guys, bottom 6, all women. And he was on the block the previous week. So he went from being on the block at risk of getting evicted to now being the man in charge. And he was very much in the middle of the house as a coaster. He had no real alliances. It didn't seem like he was integrating himself well socially. So a lot of people were scared because they were like, honestly, this whole house is free reign. Like it's open season. Any one of us can get it at any point, in the wise words of Big D, because Dan S was truly on his own island. So, of course, a lot of people were scurrying around. A lot of people thought they were in danger. Paranoia was really like running rampant throughout the house. Well, Tiff, what does Dan S end up doing?
Listening to Zach, letting Zach run his HOH.
Again.
Teaming up with him, and Zach comes in and is like, yeah, so this is what needs to happen, and this is who needs to go. And Dan essentially is no longer the head of household.
So Zach is running this HOH in addition to running Santina's HOH, and he's very much he doesn't seem like a loyal guy to me, and I wasn't...
To himself. Reminds
to
me of
himself.
someone. Mm-hmm.
Right. I wasn't sure if he was actually going to stay true to Santina, Ty, and all of them. Of course, he didn't. He jumped from them to Dan S, the HOH, this week. And it's just crazy to me that people, or that Dan at least, didn't see through the transparency. Like,
Yeah.
You must know that last week he did not care nothing about you at all. And this week he's all of a sudden in your room, wants to be seen with you all the time. I think Dan S ended up bringing Zach to Wendy's, right?
He did. Because
Yeah.
he's like, oh, that's my best friend in the house. Like, everybody
Yeah.
thinks Zach is their best friend in the house.
I would not want a best friend that just tries to control myself and my decisions. And Zach is so abrasive and aggressive with the way he talks to people that I'm surprised people haven't caught on sooner. But later in the week they do, which we'll get to. So Zach is running Dan S's HOH and says, listen, your target needs to be Rob, because Rob, if he wins power, is coming after you. I heard him say this. I can confirm. You can trust me. I'm the only person you have in this house. So Dan's like, okay, I'm on board to backdoor Roberto, but who do we put up on the block first? And Hope volunteered himself to be on the block because he wanted to play in the power of veto to prove to Canada that he's a competitor. He said he doesn't care about winning the game. He doesn't care about the game. He just wants to perform well in Big Brother Canada's carnival games. That doesn't make sense to me. But Hope made it very easy for Dan S to just throw him on the block as a pawn because he asked for it. And in this case, the pawn did not go home, whereas most of the time the pawn goes home. So I guess good on Hope. And then Zach was like, well, you know, if Roberto doesn't work out, then you should put Renee on the block because Renee's a threat. She's a social gamer. She knows this game well. She hasn't really talked that much game to me or you. Dan S is just eating all of this up. There are no thoughts happening up here.
Mm-mm.
Like, Dan S is just swallowing everything that Zach is telling him and accepting it as fact. And that was really frustrating for me to watch. I was almost looking forward to his HOH because last week he was on the bottom of the house's totem pole. So I was like, he could really do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's smart, he's going to go after the guys and try to cause a rift between them. And he kind of does, but only because Zach gives him the green light. So anyway, ends up putting Hope and Renee on the block. Tiff,
And
what did you
Renee?
think about that?
Renee comes to him and is like, hey, we were both on the bottom last week. So, like, I'm hoping that I'm safe in your book. And because Zach got to Dan S before Renee did, he's just like, yeah, I don't know why she would think that just because we were on the block together, like, we have some kind of understanding. He was totally going off of whatever Zach wanted to happen. Well, during, I might be jumping ahead because then I was going to talk about the veto competition, but I'm sorry. So yes, he does nominate Renee and Hope. And I don't know why Hope feels I guess there is this need to prove that you are strong, that you can win, but it's only like week 2. We don't have to like prove anything yet, Hope. Just calm down, you know, slow down.
Roll.
I'm like, remember this?
Yes.
Blue Ivy, like,
yes. Simmer down.
Simmer down. So the veto comp happens and they've got to play this veto comp where you knock each other out. The winner knocks out the loser. And so Hope ends up beating, he beats somebody, then he goes against Vanessa, he beats Vanessa. So he's got like some skill at this, but there's a trade-off to, competing in all the rounds, and there's a trade-off in the person who comes in the last round having watched all the other rounds. So Zach observes a strategy for how he can come in and do better than Hope, where Hope is probably now exhausted, a little tired of the going back and forth, and thinks that he has a strategy down. So he's just going to continue doing what he did the last few rounds. Well, when Zach comes up, Zach actually outnumbers Hope in how many toothbrush picks he's able to stand up in this toothbrush. Hope goes to Vanessa and goes like, did you try to throw that to me? And well, did you tell Zach how to beat me? She immediately gets offensive. She gets emotional about it. Her feelings are hurt. She's like, no, I would never do that. Well,
Real
yes.
quick, before we get into the blow up.
Yes.
Before Vanessa, delivered what she needed to deliver.
Yes.
Why did Zach not let Hope win? The outcome would have been the same. Like, was that purposeful? Was that strategic?
No, I think it was ego. It was ego.
Okay.
It was all ego, because when Zach gets up there, I'm thinking the smart thing to do here to lay low is to allow Hope to win so he can pull himself off the block. That leaves Dan no option but to have to nominate someone, and no one has to get any blood on their hands. But Zach can't control Zach. Zach jumped out and wanted to win when you already are like controlling this house. So you think, and so it does seem, but I don't really think he has control of the house. He could have just let Hope pull himself off the block. And he has that conversation with Ty. And Ty finally says something that makes sense. And Ty is like, I don't know why you didn't just let him win. He's like, I don't know why you didn't tell me. Oh, somebody needs to tell you something, because somebody's been trying to tell you something since week 1 and you haven't been listening to anyone. Like, who can tell you anything?
That part. Okay, so now we've gotten to after the veto competition. Zach is in possession of this veto. He wants to use the veto on Hope so that Roberto, his supposed alliance member, can be backdoored. But Vanessa got upset at Hope Vanessa got upset because Hope was upset with her. Yeah. As Tiffany described it, Hope was like, oh, did you tell Zach how to win against me? And Vanessa was like, why are you accusing me of that? She got defensive. She got emotional. And then I guess Zach made an offhand remark like, oh, if you're going to be emotional, then why are you here playing this game?
Yes.
Just such like a douchebag comment
to make. It was, like, yeah.
You're not the gatekeeper of this game. The whole point is for the Big Brother house to be a social experiment. It's to cast all different types of people who react differently in social situations. That's why it's been around for years. So anyway,
very valid argument too. She's like, I'm human. We're humans. Humans have emotions. So you can be here and be emotional. I don't have to not be here if I'm going to be emotional. I thought that was rude. And I loved that she stood up for herself.
Same. She was very matter of fact. She laid out all her points, didn't really give Zach an opportunity to double down on what he said, because at that point, eventually he realizes that he was wrong in saying that, because she was right with everything that she was coming to him with.
I want to point out something when you say, but I want to piggyback off of what you're saying. Yeah. Something about his strategy, I was like, oh, I peeped his strategy when they were having that conversation where he realized he was wrong. And she's like, she was saying to him, I feel like we're just kind of similar in that regard. Everything she was saying, he was mirroring her to lower her defenses. He's like, yeah, I agree with you. I think I agree. We are like that. And I said, oh, that's kind of smart. Instead of combating her or defending yourself, just telling someone, oh, I think we're the same way in that regard. And that actually allows people to see you in a different way instead of having to fight you when they tell you, I actually see that we're very similar in that regard, because people love themselves.
100%.
He was that was a smart move, because it really did lower her defenses.
That was the businessman in him coming out.
It really was.
I could tell. Yeah. I mean, in order to disarm someone, you want to make them comfortable. And how do you are we more comfortable with anyone than we are with ourselves? Now, of course, insecurity, comes into play. But
yes,
that was smart. That was very socially savvy for him to do. But before they came to that place of understanding, there was this huge blow up that happened. And Vanessa was like, I just blew up the game, because in front of everyone, she goes, so, if you're this stand-up guy and blah, 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 then why were you trying to get Roberto backdoored last week? And Zach immediately started denying it, started gaslighting her, calling her crazy, saying that's not true. If you guys believe this, you're just as crazy as she is. Just being very accusatory towards her and anyone who may, take what she's saying into consideration. Because after that, people started coming up to Zach like, wait, was there some truth to what Vanessa was saying? Were you considering backdooring Roberto last week? Is he on your radar this week? And he would get so furious and immediately stand up and walk out of any room where someone was approaching him calmly, just being like, yo, can you explain that? Can you give some context to what she was saying? Why does she think that? Or was she just lying? Zach, instead of, remaining level-headed, would just start yelling at them, and then he would storm off like a baby. So all of that happened during Wednesday's episode. It was
except Roberto was just so lackadaisical about it Like he wasn't even concerned. And I'm like, hey, dude, this needs to be a fire up under you. Like, why aren't you taking this as being legitimate? And you're just like still questioning, is that true or not? And I'm not saying you got to believe what you hear, because you do have to consider that some of these things may not be true. But he didn't seem concerned about it.
Which, yes, I would agree with you. But because we don't have live feeds and cam talks, I'm wondering if he was like, okay, I think the only option I have here is to keep my cool, because I don't want to give anyone else a reason to doubt me or question me or accuse me of being paranoid, because that will just give him the confirmation that he needs to use the veto and put me on the block. So I wonder if he was just trying to like diffuse the situation by remaining calm.
But I
don't know.
Probably try to connect with Zach, see if there's something that I could offer him. He tried to talk to Dan, but he didn't realize, like, I don't know if he really realized how much Zach was running Dan's HOH. Yeah. Like, if he could have, and maybe there was no way, maybe there is no end to getting to Zach, because Zach's so surrounded. He's like a king on the chessboard. He's got himself surrounded by all of his pawns that he doesn't need Zach Roberto as another pawn. He's got enough. Like, what are you going to be? Number 13? Like, he's got a number 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 21 Savage. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Yes. But okay, Roberto did actually try talking to Zach. And remember, Zach was like, I'm not doing this, Roberto. Ew, no, I'm not talking to you. Like, it's been a long day for me. I just want a veto.
He said, let's talk tomorrow. He said, let's talk tomorrow. Now, anytime anybody says, let's talk tomorrow, do you know how long tomorrow is in the Big Brother house? Tomorrow is a long time. It's a month.
And you're gonna be up all night. You're gonna be up all night stressed about it. The whole entire night you're stressed about it. Someone ever says that,
bro, we can't talk in a few.
I don't know. Zach very much confused me this week, but because Vanessa put his business out there, and that really got people to start ruminating and thinking about how much power Zach thinks he holds. People are now waking up to the fact that he is just cozying up to whoever's the HOH. And Santina, his ex-closest ally, was like, Zach is my target. Everyone who was previously aligned with Zach, with the exception of Zach's like two henchmen, Ty and Dan S., is now looking at Zach. So,
well, for one, because she was close with Rob and she wanted him to stay. And she told Zach, like, it's not beneficial to me for Zach to leave. And I mean, for Dan, oh God.
For Roberto.
Yes. She's like, it's not beneficial for me for Roberto to leave. And Zach's like, well, it's not beneficial for me for him to stay. And she's like, well, if people are working together, like, we should kind of be hearing each other out a little bit. And I felt that because I remember feeling like that before in a house I lived in, but talking to a man who thought he was running a game. And I was like, you about to get your ass. Oh, anyway. Simmer down. And because we don't have live feeds and context, I don't know how close Santina and Roberto really are. But when she realized he was going for someone she was close to, I think she really realized, like, I am not here for the Zach show. And then Zach is so condescending. He's like, do they just cast people like that? Zach's so condescending. He's like, are you trying to play this game or are you trying to win this game? Like, he's always trying to tell somebody, I know this game. I know this. Like, listen to me. I'm trying to tell you how to play this game. I need you to get in this house and I don't need you to stay in this house. Matter of fact, I don't need you at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just happy that Santina, she kept her cool as she does, but I was glad that she wasn't buying whatever he was trying to sell her in that moment. I think that was probably like the turning point for her, where she was like, wait a second, this guy does not value me, does not value my input. He doesn't see us as a unit. He doesn't see us as a we. he was just making me believe those things because last week I had the power to send him home. So that's the moment where like she started rallying some people along with Jonathan the fisherman, and they were like, we need to keep, I know, a heart of gold, literally a heart of gold. But they were like, we have to find a way to keep Roberto in the house because of how close they are to him. And they could definitely have used Roberto as a weapon to go after Zach, as well as a shield. And it looked like they were going to have the votes. They really just needed Anika, Dan C, and Kuzi, because the two girls, Shania and Claudia, of course, they were going to vote to keep their vote to keep their girl Renee. Mm-hmm. Now Zach and Ty, they're going to vote to keep Renee because they want Roberto out. So that's 4 votes to keep Renee. Then on the other side, you have Jonathan, you have Vanessa, and you have Santina and Hope, who are all very close to Roberto. So that's 4 votes to keep Roberto. And then you have 3 votes in the middle that everyone's vying for. And I felt like neither side did as good of a job as they could have trying to secure those 3 floater votes. And I don't know, they kind of talked to Daniel, Kuzi, and Anika like they were just numbers instead of making them feel part of something. That is why if you are listening and you ever find yourself in the Big Brother house, if you are in a large alliance, make sure you nurture those relationships with people on the outs. Don't make them feel disposable because you never, ever, ever know when you're going to need them. And I feel like that is true across all these games. But Tiff, what were you going to say?
Girl, I don't even know. You had me so engulfed in what you were saying. But yes, I actually was going to ask you, why do you think it didn't work? Because it seemed like they were going to keep Rob. And it seemed like a good reason to keep him was to allow them to keep going after him. He's a huge target in the house. Why not keep him? Daniel, I think Daniel just doesn't want a more strong guys that he has to continue to compete against. And I understood that. But I didn't understand why others wouldn't see that keeping him kept the target off of them, allowed them to keep fighting and going for each other. And Anika said that, but you kind of answered that when you said they didn't really allow them a space to belong to. They didn't belong to anything. The pitch was just to be another number, and they're already numbers. So telling me I'm going to make you a number and I'm already a number is not a benefit to me. So I get why Rob was evicted. Sorry, Rob. So Hannah, I was wondering why this house is just like so crazy. And I think it's because usually in the BB house, the house is usually divided. You've got this side and you got the other side. You've got the 2 sides going against each other. But this house, there seems to be a lot of small little pockets. You've got the guys, and then you've got some of the guys that are even closer but want the other guys out. Then you've got the girls. Then you've got the girls with some of the guys. It doesn't seem to be a clear divide. There's not like a clear line where this side is trying to get this side out. It's like, well, those floaters, that group of floaters is like going in between getting out the other sides until those lines divide. Just wanted to see if you noticed that, but I'm sure you did.
No, for sure. It's a very fluid house. And that makes this season unpredictable. It's not like, oh, next week, no matter who wins, like this is the house target.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the vote was kind of close. The vote was 7-4. I don't know if they knew that's what the outcome was going to be. I don't know if the 4 people who voted for Roberto just like didn't want him to leave unanimously. So that's why they did. I don't know if it was a genuine shock that he left. I'm assuming it wasn't because he seemed defeated. Yeah. But I'm just
he was dressed
happy.
To go.
Casket chic, dare we say. But he put up a good fight.
Yeah, he did.
He had a lot of people campaigning for him. He was making some valid points. Renee was also campaigning. So as a viewer, you know, that's what you like to see. You like to see people fighting for their lives, which sounds very sadistic. But I don't know. For some reason, I love it. I eat it up. And
Well, let me ask you, Hannah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, that's all I was gonna say.
Did you see the embrace between Santina and Roberto on the way out?
I did. It was a loving embrace, but I don't think anything's gonna come of it unless she perhaps leaves.
It ain't
next
nothing
week.
coming up. She needs to stay away from my man.
I don't know if it's nothing coming from it,
It
but
ain't nothing coming from it. I
was-
just said she got
was
to
it-
stay away from my man.
Well, was
I'm not
it just
understanding when we
me?
say it in Spanish.
Actually, yes. Yeah, let's
Well-
hear it.
Don't mess with my man.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna be the one to bring it to you. Don't mess
Oh.
with my man.
And then before we move on to the next topic, Ty has me exhausted. I know he's in a showmance with Claudia, but the way he speaks to her can be so infuriating. He's just dismissive of her. He's very like, oh, no, that would never happen. And she's like, can you share with me why something would never happen? Like, we're supposed to be a showmance. We're supposed to be working together. And
It's
he's
given
like,
BB23 number 4.
yeah, well, I mean. Listen, I am not going to incriminate myself. So you will not get any opinions from me, but I do not agree with you.
All right, moving right along. Where are we, Big D?
Anyway, in Survivor, did you guys see Survivor this week? Like,
I
what
sure
is your
did.
thoughts? Please, like, how did you feel?
All right,
Let
start
me
us
know.
from the beginning. Start us from the beginning. I always only remember the end, but once you
Okay.
somebody starts
So,
off, I can get there. So
Here
what
we go. So we have, if I am correct, okay, we have Sokka tribe, okay, Soka tribe. Okay, first of all, wait, let me start from the beginning, okay? First of all, Jeff comes out here and he wants to throw in a twist, okay? And this twist is that each member of their tribe has to send somebody to an island, okay, to, we already know what's on the island. There's a potential chance you get a, immunity idol, or, they want to give out fake idols. You don't know what you're going to get on this island at this point.
Well,
'cause of how
actually,
this
the
game
winner.
is.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, go ahead, Hannah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
the winner of that challenge, Soka tribe, was the one who got to determine which member from each tribe.
Yes.
So
yes.
they picked Josh from their tribe. Because I think Danny, Heidi, and then the showmans, Maddie and Franny, they wanted to form like this quad and send Josh home. So they were like, okay, let's just get rid of Josh for the day. And when he comes back, he'll be even more on the outs, and it'll just be that much easier to vote him out. So they send Josh away. They send Carson away because they're probably looking at him as the biggest threat, and they want him gone. And then they send Jamie from Ratu tribe. So now these three people have to leave everyone else and go on their own adventure, we'll call it. And they don't know what's in store for them. Continue, Big D.
Now, when they show up, they're all like, the same thing they want to tell them. Get to know each other, let's go on this walk up the fucking mountain. I don't know why they do that, because nobody got time to be getting to know each other on this walk, okay? But they're supposed to be getting to know each other. They get there, they go their certain paths. We always know there's going to be a bag full of some bullshit in it. We don't know what's going to be in it, okay? So we go in there.
Survivor with Big D.
And they put their hand in this bag. And when they put their hand in this bag, it says that before they put their hand in this bag, they get there, there's a note. The note says, you will now be switching tribes.
No, it says you have won an immunity idol.
Oh, yes. Excuse me. Sorry, this is Big D Survivor Spark Notes, okay? We skipping ahead, okay? So they say that you are going to be getting an immunity idol, but what comes with that motherfucking immunity idol is going to be you going to have to switch tribes.
And an immunity idol.
And yes, an
idol.
immunity idol, an immunity, whatever, same idol that's going to save your life, whatever idol it is, okay? So that idol, that's a real idol.
You're going to
the
get
same
an American idol.
Yeah, you're going to get an immunity idol. With that same idol that you're going to get, that idol is real. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it does say at the bottom of the screen that it's real, because I can't keep up with what's real, what's fake at this point when it comes to Survivor, okay? So they get the immunity idol, and then it says, it also comes with, I guess you can call it advantage as they're saying it. I don't think it's an advantage, but it's an advantage that they're going to be switching tribes. You're going to put your hand in this bag, and next thing you notice, you're going to be on a different tribe when you go back. Now, how do y'all feel about that?
That would have okay, this how, first of all, for Josh really thought that he was in a good position on his tribe. So he is really distraught about, not necessarily distraught, but he's not liking the fact that he's got to switch tribes. But I'm watching as a viewer like, honey, you don't realize that this is probably better for you, because you were going to go home regardless. Were going to go home from your tribe, or you were going to go home from another tribe. But had it been me, I think I would have been very uncomfortable with that.
But that's why they gave them an immunity idol.
Yeah.
However, giving them one immunity idol, I don't know how. Actually, I mean, unless your tribe loses 2 weeks in a row, then that probably does give you safety until merge, right? Because we only have, this week, who ended up leaving, Sarah from Tika tribe. But I think only one more person leaves before the merge. And all of them still have immunity idols left, with the exception of Josh. So as long as Josh's tribe does not lose next week, then I feel like he's pretty much made the merge. And now he has these people, and he has the people from his original tribe, Soka. And once they make the merge, Soka's probably not going to be looking at him anymore, or as much as they were looking at him before. They're gonna go for the enemies, quote unquote, that they don't know as well, and Josh will be a later problem. So I actually think, as uncomfortable as it would be to have to leave your original tribe and, start from the ground up on a new island this far into the game, because they were sent there with those immunity idols, I think they're good till the merge.
Yeah. Except, what's my girl who thinks she got 2 idols?
Oh, poor Jamie.
Oh, yeah, Jamie. Yeah. Which I'm glad they cleared that up, because, I'm sitting there like, why does isn't the other one a fake idol? Like, I'm glad they're putting, thank you to production, letting us know what's real, what's fake. But, I mean, this Survivor, as Hannah said it last week, this is like Survivor versus each other versus production versus Jeff at this point. Like, this is just chaotic. I don't know what else they can do. They're better off just throwing some other players in here at this point. Just bringing back players just to make it more chaotic at this point.
So, Hannah, what's my guy who is on the tribe that not Carson left? Yeah, no, not Carson left. Carson just joined his tribe. And so, and so he's like, oh, I was building this relationship. Now I've got to build a relationship with Carson. And he tries to tell Carson all the business. Matt. Yes, Matt. Yes, he's trying to tell Carson all the business that's going on, trying to get him on his side now. And I'm like, this whole thing is a mess.
I thought it was very interesting how each tribe received their new people. Like, with Jamie walking in to Soka tribe. As soon as she left, they were like, okay, well, the first chance we get, we're sending her home. They were very much on the same page. As soon as Josh walked into, and we'll get into this because it did not pan out in the way that they were intending for it to work out. But originally, when Josh first got there, Tika tribe was like, okay, well, we're staying Tika strong. We're getting rid of the new guy. Carson walks into Ratu tribe, and instead of them, coming to the same consensus, they're actually trying to pull Carson in as an outlier and I guess get him to join their side in the event that they need numbers. Matt's doing this, Kane is doing this. So I just thought it was interesting how Ratu tribe took in their newcomer differently than the other two tribes did.
I agree. I think it's just, once again, I think it's you have to think ahead of the game. So I think Matt's just thinking ahead of the game. Like, at some point, the merge is coming. So why not have Carson with me so I can be able to merge with his people? That's what I think he's going with. Just to have that extra, as Tiff said earlier. I'm sorry, not Tiff. I am wrong. Do not give credit to Tiff. Give credit to Hannah. That Hannah said earlier that when you're playing a game, make sure you cherish those relationships outside of your alliance. Yeah. So I think him thinking ahead of, staying ahead of time, he's like, let me make sure I cherish these other relationships outside of my tribe.
Now we move on. Tika is in danger. So they're all scrambling when they get back to their island. And then what happens?
Well, Jam Jam and Sarah have this plan, and they think that Carolyn is in on it to get Josh out, but they have always kind of treated Carolyn like an outsider. And it seems like Jam Jam and Carolyn fight in like a sibling type of way. So their disagreements don't really seem that serious just watching. It just seems like that's just how they interact. Kind of like me and you, Big D. And probably it is. Like,
I was going to say that. I got a little bit of PTSD. I felt it.
Like
I felt that moment when he told her to be quiet. I felt that from when Tiff would try to be the dominant one. I felt that in my heart. So I relate to Carolyn.
Trying to be dominant.
I think you might be rewriting history.
Oh,
but-
Let me tell you something, Hannah. Stay out of grown people's business. Nobody was talking to you. Mind your
I'm
business.
22. I've been grown for 4 years. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Settle down. We are not going to yell at Hannah. Settle down. But I feel like outside of the house, they'll probably have like a close relationship.
Hey Siri,
like
call Xavier. I need backup.
Don't do it.
Xavier would never take your side over mine. Continue.
So Josh comes to Carolyn and he does something I wasn't expecting him to do. He reveals to her that I've got an idol, but he does say, I'll use it. Did he say I'll use it for you or on you?
He said, I'll use it on you. He said he would consider it.
Okay.
If
So
it comes to that.
he's giving her he's opening up. He's trying to build trust. He's like, it can be me and you. And Jam Jam is just really thinking that he's got to get rid of Josh. He views him as his threat on his tribe, his competition. He doesn't want him there. Sarah doesn't want him there. Carolyn, let me just say this. I actually had to tweet about it. I was like, I'm enjoying watching Carolyn. I enjoy watching her. She is like so sporadic and random that you just never have an idea of if she's faking, if she's being real. Does she know what's going on? Is she confused? Is this a charade? But she does it so consistently that you just have to be like, nah, she don't know what the fuck's going on. This is just her. And so it's like somebody was like, oh, that's what the fans like. I'm like, I don't be on Twitter for y'all. Those of y'all who don't know, I post my shit and go, it's like a fart in the wind. I poop and I'm gone. So, I'm like, I just enjoy watching her.
So she was absolutely right to not just, sit in the sand with her head down and accept what they were telling her. I'm really glad that she took action and she got connected with Josh because who knows what would have happened otherwise. And it was also smart for Josh to be like, okay, well, Carolyn must be on the outs here. She must be at the bottom of this little triad, of this little trio. So why don't the leftovers, band together and form our own duo instead of just accepting that we're at the bottom, rolling over and dying? The outcome was unexpected. I was like, Sarah, I didn't even know Sarah was on this island. But it was a good episode. Really good episode. His
ability to read the room is almost stellar. He came in and figured out where he needed to be, who was the weakest link, who was the strongest link, who he could convince Carolyn to get out.
There's a lot going on right now in this tribe. There's, Jam Jam who's sitting over here telling, Caroline, do whatever you normally do and blowing her off. And he's over here coming up with this plan with Sarah, and then him and Sarah on the same page. But, Josh, he made a really good risky move, which I think saved him by telling her, hey, I got an idol. I'm going to protect you since it seems like they want to get you out. And let me tell you some tip. I agree with you. Carolyn, she's dangerous. I couldn't read someone like that. And I never say anything like that about any players. I never say that about any players. I'm usually like, I would have been like, got this person, know their game. I, for the first time, can legit say I could not read this person as a player, and I would be worried if I ever played a competition show with her. Plain and simple. She's the biggest threat I've ever seen since,
Because
I would
she's so
say,
unreadable. You can't read her.
yes, I would say even, yeah, she's the biggest threat I've seen in a long time across every competition show because she, like you said, is unreadable. It's
You
impossible.
underestimate her. You look at her as somebody who's not a threat. She doesn't know what's going on. She's not going to hurt my game. She's not strategizing. Nobody's listening. That you cannot judge a book by its cover.
Oh, Josh plays that idol. He is safe, of course, which now causes Sarah to have to go home. As we saw, Jam Jam was very, very confused, and Carolyn played a very, very smart move, and she made the correct decision to do what she needed to do.
Okay,
So
so guys, have you been watching the challenge? Did you see this week's episode of World Championship? What did you think?
I loved it because Daddy West won, and it was so good to see him just do what he does best. And I will say this, and I might be jumping ahead. Danny got cheated though, because the way this competition was set up, which was crazy to me. Let me put you guys in this scenario. Everybody's on one side, okay, and you got to run to the other side before the door closes, and then you got to go all the way back to the other side before the door closes, and it's chaos, which I love it. It's just hitting people and trying to get there. I love a good hit me people. But my issue is, each round you go, I thought it was going to be if one of your partners make it, you both make it. No, you both have to get in there, which I thought was kind of chaotic. Okay. But as we're going and people are getting eliminated, we're down to Wes and Danny, which is Danny's partner's Tori. And who's Wes's partner again? I can't remember her name.
Zara from the UK.
Zara. Okay, from the UK. So we're down to them, and I would say this: Zara definitely came to play. She ain't scared of nobody. The way that she was like hitting Tori and then letting Tori know, like, you're not getting in front of, like, she was grabbing on Danny's neck. We get to the end. They got to run. They're at the last bit of it, and Wes wins because half of his body is underneath the gate. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like they should have just probably ran one more time or maybe figured out a different way, but I don't really consider that a win because I thought your whole body had to get underneath, and I thought both of your partners had to get there. That's what confused me.
They be making up their rules as they go along. I'm convinced of it. And I was not rolling my eyes at West winning. I was rolling my eyes at you. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess Danny should have just put half his body under there.
But yes, so Zara and Wes are now the HOHs. They're now the winning team.
They won the daily.
They won the daily. The HOHs. They won the daily. And the house now has to sit in a circle, mafia style, and select one pair to go into the arena. And, it's just so boring to me because season after season, after week, they want to play safe and they're out here calling themselves legends.
Girl, I just tweeted that the other day. I literally just tweeted that. I go, the challenge is not giving what it used to give as of drama, entertainment, like, we're in a competition show. Like, there's money on the line. Why are we playing safe? Like, shouldn't we be out here, like, fighting for money or whatever? I'm just kind of just...
Tori said, she told y'all. She said, we play this game. We've been playing this game together for years throughout different series of the challenge. And we're not going to screw each other over. So if us three go on a show together, do you expect us to stick together because we have relationships outside of the show? Or do you expect us to go in and just play to win and not consider the relationships that we have?
Okay, so I do think that there's a difference between, honoring the friendships that you have in the real world, because I am close to you, Tiff. I'm close to Derek. I love about you guys. I love you guys, and I consider you guys to be like family. So I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize you. And if you guys are in danger, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to be an ally. I'm going to be a friend. I'm going to be a little sister. But there's a difference between that and then playing for 5 seasons down the line. If you're being cast on this season, I want you to be playing this season. And yes, of course, you're going to gravitate towards the people that you are close to outside of the game. But I do feel like if you are just playing for the here and for the now, you are going to take a less safe approach. And it's going to make for better TV as a viewer. Now, as someone who has played a game show, I can understand why it's just easier to default to voting with the house or moving with the pack. You don't want to ruffle feathers, especially that early in the game. But from the perspective of a viewer, it's just frustrating that these people are, they're self-proclaimed legends, but I'm not really seeing anything legendary. I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary from what I see every season on the channel.
But I will say, in this episode, I felt really bad for Danny, and I saw Danny trying to make a big move and trying to, see if is my partner going to have my back, or is she going to have her ex-boyfriend's back? And it was sad to see that it's going to be a challenge for him. But lo and behold, the people that came in last place were was it Nani? No, who was it? Naya. It was Naya and oh my God, what's his name?
Roderick.
Okay. Yes. So they came, unfortunately, because of how these rules that they make up in the challenge book that no one knows, that we'll never be able to see, because her body was halfway down. Her body was further than the other girl. I think it was Kiki's body. So that put her in the bottom or whatever. So they end up in this elimination, okay, against their own country's team, which was very sad to see.
And Roderick had hurt himself. He had injured his leg. And the last thing I can speak from experience that you want anyone to know is that you have an injury. For those of you who don't know, I rolled my ankle last season and I was icing it, and everybody knew that my ankle was like this big. So I got thrown into elimination and I was expected to pedal a bike. I was just going to say I did seeing Naya share her story about, she went through a whole scare due to vaping, and her journey through overcoming that and just sharing the health issues that can come from it, and how she's taken her health more seriously and her fitness. And she just, to me, from what I know about Naya, just seems so genuine, so kind, just a fun spirit. And so I was glad that she was comfortable enough to share that, and that she's overcome it, and to see her out here competing and giving it her all.
Yeah, I loved that too.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I'm glad that she shared that. And it's great to see how she did overcome. All right. Well, Tip, you have anything else for the challenge?
No.
Hannah, you have anything else for the challenge?
No, I just don't want to watch the same episode 3 weeks. So let's hope for things to get shaken up.
Oh, they just need to throw a big D bomb in it, and it would really shake things up real quick. Thank you guys for watching The Royalty. Once again, please remember to like and subscribe and comment. We are doing everything you guys want. We hear all your concerns. We appreciate all your love and support. We have made it over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I think that's a big win for us. And we just have to say we love you guys. Thank you. And we will continue bringing you more next week. All right. Hannah, Tiffany, I love you ladies. Thank you so much for your time and your advice.
Bye. See you next week. Bye.